As I was doom scrolling the other day on TikTok, YouTube, whatever, I came across this video called The 7 Levels of Rappers. And the first thing I thought was, wow, this is actually a great video concept. And then I also thought, wow, this is a great video concept. I'm gonna do the exact same thing, except with finance bros. And so when I say finance bros, I'm not exactly talking about, the stereotypical finance bros. I'm talking about everybody. And so when I talk about the 7 levels of finance bros, really anybody can fit into these categories. You don't need to work on Wall Street. You don't need to have a finance degree. You really just need to be a human with a soul that has some sort of money. Sorry, Peter Thiel, but unfortunately you won't make the cut.
You would prefer the human race to endure, right?
Uh,
You're hesitating.
Yeah, well,
yes?
I don't know. I would,
This is a long hesitation.
Now, according to TikTok, a finance bro needs to be 6'5", have blue eyes, a trust fund.
I'm looking for a man in finance with trust fund, 6'5", blue eyes.
But your 5'1" grandma, who probably has no teeth, can also fit into one of these categories, and I guarantee you it's probably either one or two, but with the first one being the ignorant bro. Level 1 of the finance bro is the ignorant bro. They know absolutely nothing about budgeting, finance, or anything like that. They get a paycheck and spend it right away. They have no budget, they have no savings, they don't even have a 401k. And if you even mention a 401k to them, they probably either think you're gonna get a free $401,000 or that they're gonna pay $401,000. Listen, we've all been there. Technically, when we're first born, we are the ignorant bro. And we usually stay there until about high school when we get our first job.
I'm back, you got the job! You got the job!
But boy, oh boy, do I know some people that fit into this category. And honestly, it kind of amazes me that they're able to breathe and procreate and do everything else like you and me and still survive somehow. The people at this level aren't worried about saving for a car, vacation, a house, retirement, or anything. They're literally just worried about if this $100 will last them the rest of the week until the 15th. And honestly, the one good thing about the ignorant bro is they're probably not in debt. Either one, because they have no clue how to open a credit card, or two, no one will lend to them.
You know what? Denied.
Why are you acting so uppity? You ain't nothing but a hood rat. Yeah.
Denied.
You're denied. You're void. You're void.
Or maybe they saw a TikTok online at one point that said credit is bad, never get a credit card.
Credit cards are bad and you need to stay away from them.
Either way, it's a win in my book. But honestly, at this level, it's a miracle that they're alive. And if you do feel like you're at this level and the ignorant bro, I don't blame you, I don't judge you. But if you watch to the end of the video, at least you'll be at level 2, which is insanely better than what you're currently at. But if you mention something to one of your friends about the IRA and they instantly think it's those people that own all the guns in America, please send them this video. They're gonna need it. On to level 2, which is slightly better. And I'm sure, honestly, a good amount of you are at this level, but this is the mom and pop bro. Now, if you had any sort of upbringing at all, and you at least paid somewhat attention to what was happening around you, you would be at least at this level. At this level, you've opened a savings account, whether it's your piggy bank, under your bed, an actual savings account, or if you're really advanced, it's buried in your backyard somewhere. But honestly, this isn't your fault. Blame your great granddad who had to experience the Dust Bowl and the Great Depression firsthand. He really doesn't trust those greedy robber barons at JP Morgan Chase, and you shouldn't either. And honestly, at this level, if you're a little bit more advanced, like you're a level 2 alpha, you might even have a savings account where money is instantly being deposited into every week, every time you get a paycheck, which I really applaud you for, but that's it. If you're at this level, you more than likely have $1,000 in your savings account, and then you see that 10 cents pop up and you think, wow, look at all of this interest that I got for doing absolutely nothing. I'm going to be rich one day. You guys will all see. Well, I have news for you. You won't. And people at this level avoid credit cards religiously, not because they can't get one, but because they were taught from a very young age that if great grandfather Theodore Armstrong was able to buy a house in cold hard cash in the 1850s, you can do it too. But for some reason, when the person at this level goes to Ashley Furniture and they buy a 6-seater recliner with a built-in jacuzzi at 0% interest for 240 months, that's okay for some reason. Credit cards are bad, but a little interest-free loan that you'll spend a quarter of your life paying for is okay. I don't know why, but that's the logic here. And honestly, people at this level don't even invest either. Not because they don't know how to or they don't understand the process, but literally because investing is gambling, and gambling is bad for the soul. Because the only people who invest their money are evil money goblins who are being led by the devil himself. But a few lottery tickets, perfectly fine. Because someone's gonna win that $1.8 billion Powerball, and you've been told you're lucky all your life. So it's gonna be you. And boy, do not tell these people that their parents' outdated advice is wrong. They honestly might never speak to you again if you do that. If Meemaw, who once thought the earth was flat, is telling you to put your money in a savings account and that's all you need to do to retire, you better listen to her instead of your friend who has a degree in finance. But listen, honestly, there's nothing inherently wrong with people at this level. And to be honest, before the internet and before we went off of the gold standard, this would have been pretty great advice. But since America doesn't know how to act, this level isn't really the ideal option to be at, and you'd be better off going on to the third level, which I call the Dave Ramsey bro.
I don't give a crap about your feelings. You're a whiner. I'll call the wambulance.
The Dave Ramsey bro. We all know Dave Ramsey for his straightforward advice, his wild yet conservative takes, and his infamous book, The Total Money Makeover. And honestly, if you can consider yourself in level 3, that's great. That's where I think pretty much everyone should be at. Because honestly, everything after this level leads to despair, anguish, never-ending sadness, and a little bit of psychosis. But level 3, you honestly probably have about 90% of everything you need to know, or at least can talk about the 90% of things that you need to do. You now have probably used debt sometime in the past for a car payment, a mortgage, or anything like that, and you understand that debt isn't necessarily bad as long as you're using it properly. However, you've probably gotten rid of most of your debt after reading this book, and if you haven't, you're either slowly getting rid of it or you've gone full monk mode until everything's paid off. Personally, I do not recommend going monk mode. It's very painful and will probably make your girlfriend break up with you. But besides that, you've probably got a 401k set up with your job. You probably have an emergency fund with roughly 3 to 12 months worth of savings in it, depending on your risk tolerance, and you're probably putting the rest of your money within an IRA, an HSA, or Dave's favorite, mutual funds. Now, don't get me started on the BS of mutual funds. I could do that right now, but it's a whole deep dive that I'll get into in a later video. But honestly, for the average everyday Joe, they actually work pretty well. And honestly, they're fine and they'll get you where you need to go mostly to set you up for a solid retirement. But man, oh man, at this level comes an extreme amount of knowledge, but also with this amount of knowledge comes a knowledge that most people actually in fact don't know what they're doing. And with their lack of knowledge, here comes the never-ending conversations and judgments from the people who do about your finances, budgeting, investing, or anything under the sun. For those of you that haven't heard of the Dunning-Kruger effect, it really looks like this, where your confidence instantly rises as soon as you learn a topic until you get to a point where you realize you don't really know anything. And if you're at level 3, you're sitting right about here. You're not all the way at the top, but you are very, very close. Your confidence is oozing and you're ready to debate anyone on why debt is bad and why your car payment will make you work for the rest of your life. And usually they mean well and they have pretty good advice, but it always comes when you're not wanting it or not asking for it. Like at a funeral, a football game, or a 3-year-old's birthday party. You ever talk to a kid that just learned how to cartwheel and then they instantly forget that there's pedophiles out there like Jeffrey Epstein and R. Kelly, and they just go up to random people and go, hey, you wanna see me do a cartwheel? This is what people at level 3 kind of look like. But honestly, really, if you're at this level, I do applaud you. Because really, if you can stick to what you're talking about and what you've learned, you're actually going to be better off than about 90% of the population. Just know that there is a time and place for it. And really, if you are here, just stop. Just stop. Don't go any further. You don't need to. Level 4, level 5, level 6, level 7, it all leads to despair, sadness. Nothing good comes after this, I promise. Which takes us to level 4, which I call the finance major bro. And so you have now officially entered the peak of the Dunning-Kruger graph, or should I say the first peak. Life is good at this point. You probably have a savings account with an actually pretty decent interest rate. You've got all your retirement accounts set up, and you've left your old ex-girlfriend Dave Ramsey in the dust. And you found new books like Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad Poor Dad, The Psychology of Money, The Intelligent Investor. All of these books, and you honestly feel like there's nothing you could possibly do to become more financially independent. Every conversation you have is a quote from one of these books. You wake up and you instantly check the S&P 500 right away instead of Instagram or TikTok. When you get to work on Mondays and your coworkers ask, well, how was your weekend? You reply, it well, it'd be a lot better if the Dow wasn't down 250 points today. You've even started to dabble into investing with your own money in stocks and making your own stock selections, because you start to see that your mutual fund that you had last year only gained about 8% interest. And in your head, you're like, I could definitely do way better than that. And listen, you understand the theory of investing. You buy low and you sell high like everybody says to do. You start throwing around financial jargon that you've seen on CNBC like it's everyday words. And you might even sound like you know what you're talking about, but sometimes you maybe do and sometimes you maybe don't. You'll be like, hey, did you see the beta just dropped for Nvidia? Or I just received my first dividend for the first time yesterday. Passive income is way easier than people make it out to be. And you start watching every movie on finance that you can get your hands on. Margin Call, Wolf of Wall Street, The Big Short, The Accountant. You've become obsessed. Your Robinhood account has become your new girlfriend. And when she's having a bad day, you're having a bad day. But when she's having the greatest day of the year, you're telling the boys, drinks on me tonight. You don't really know what you're doing, but you're having fun. You're enjoying it. You're even kind of looking down on those old Dave Ramsey guys that you used to be, who have all their money tied up in retirement funds. Like, you're looking at them, you're like, dude, where's the liquidity? It's a thrill. You've probably even made some elaborate Excel budget sheet that has all your investments and budgets and credit and all of the things. You've probably signed up for some sort of finance course, whether it was free online or in person at a college. Or if you're young enough, you may have even switched your whole major to finance and hope that you can work in one of those big hedge funds at Wall Street. You're at your peak, but you really want something more. You see those 11% returns that you got last year and you think, I can do more. I can do way better. What's wrong with me? You know you have the skill set now and you've got the tools to handle anything within finance. So what do? You move on to level 5. In level 5, you become the ultimate finance bro. You're ready to dive fully into crypto, day trading, and Forex. Besides level 1, in my opinion, this is by far the worst level to be in. Now that you feel like you understand everything in the world of finance, you end up on these dark side of TikTok and YouTube, down these dark rabbit holes that leads you astray. You've probably downloaded Webull, TradeStation, or Thinkorswim, and you spent all of your free time on YouTube watching tutorials of candlestick patterns and what they represent.
Why is it not breaking through, bro? Why is it not breaking through, man?
You view everything in the form of support or resistance, and you can't even fathom the idea of holding a stock for longer than 30 minutes now. You're constantly watching the foreign exchange market for any huge swings, whether that's for the Japanese yen or all the way down to the Uruguayan peso. And you're constantly reminding your friends to be on the lookout for that brand new German Shepherd coin that's going to be dropping soon. You laugh at people that have 9-to-5s. You despise the financial institutions that want to take all the money from the little guy and who are the reason for all of your losses. And you ridicule anyone who says to invest in the index fund. You're doing futures and forwards contracts, and you've heard of the Black-Scholes model, but these old guys invented this model 50 years ago. You definitely have some better techniques and methods that can outperform them. But also with this level comes that feeling of being unstoppable, and that feeling that you need to help others become unstoppable and escape the matrix like you have. And how can you do that? Well, by selling a course. Of course, this is what I call level 5 alpha. It's not necessarily a level everybody's going to hit, but there will be a select few. Everybody knows that guy from high school who swears by day trading and that really wants to help you. You can see the gains that he's seeing too for a measly $200 a month or $2,000 a year. You'll be able to join his secret Discord chat where he has multiple day traders that he's all taught, all working together to trade investment secrets and then to talk about how fat Abby from gym class got after having 4 kids. If you know anyone in this phase, run for the hills or call the police. Either one works. I promise you, if the strategies that they were using would actually make them money, they would be using those strategies and not having to sell some course to teach you how to make it. But one day, you will eventually lead this level. At least I hope. You'll either run out of money or you'll run out of patience, and you'll move on to the 6th level, which is the investor bro. At this level, you've actually almost seen it all. You've read all of the #1 best-selling finance books. You've learned how to read a 10K and to keep up with the market on a regular basis. But you've also left behind the annoying need to bring it up in every single conversation. You've been around it too much. You understand just how everything starts to flow together. But you've taken more of a Warren Buffett approach, and you invest in companies that you actually believe in and that you think will do well. You might even have enough money to be an angel investor in your community for a small company. Yet at the same time, you still stay diversified enough to protect yourself from any risk. When you're buying a stock, you are purchasing and holding it for a while. You fully understand your risk appetite and you're putting your money in places that are meaningful to you and that will give you a proper risk adjusted return. You may even decide to niche down and choose like one market, like real estate, because you've come to the idea that being an expert in one area might be better than just being a generalist in all. You're thinking about estate planning, legal frameworks, tax advantages. You're no longer interested in speculative stocks. You're really only interested now in stocks that you see value in. You now have a minimum investment horizon of at least 5 years, and you probably even have some money in government holdings or bonds. You're constantly adjusting your portfolio based on your net worth, market sentiment, and expected returns, but you're also doing it at a way to keep your tax income as low as possible. Life is good at this level, and it's relaxed, and I honestly hope you stop here. But unfortunately, there will be a few of us who move on to level 7, and I really don't recommend it. You'll never turn back from level 7, and this is literally where all the pain and the suffering and the sadness comes. And this final level is called the forfeited bro. You've dove too deep. That financial theory that all the famous investment books, finance books, and what they teach you in college wasn't enough for you. You wanted unlimited information, and you found it. No longer is your brain full of words like beta or dividends. It's now full of things like martingales or Doob decomposition. You now understand the efficient market hypothesis and how everything is really priced in. There is no new information. There is nothing out there to give yourself an edge. None of this alpha that they always speak about actually exists. You remember learning things such as pre-calculus and regular calculus, but never something as advanced as stochastic calculus. So you dive deep, reading books that would be a foreign language to about 99.9% of the human population. You learn that finance isn't really finance. It's just math, probability, and statistics dressed up with money signs. And you learn about quantitative analysts.
Look at him. That's my quant.
Your what?
My quantitative. My math specialist. Look at him. You notice anything different about him? Look at his face.
And not just him, but you learn about all the greats like Kenneth Arrow, Kiyoshi Ito, Jim Simmons, Nassim Nicholas Taleb, Edward Thorpe, Eugene Fama, Kenneth French. Modern day geniuses that have learned to manipulate the stock market in ways that no one else could think of. You start really learning just how rigged the system is. You learn how the stock market really lies to you by giving us arithmetic returns that make your returns seem so much higher than they actually are, when everything should really be looked at in terms of geometric returns and accounting for inflation as well. You've gone too far. You've learned about computers and algorithms that are so advanced that no one even knows really what's going on behind them, that they cause market crashes without anyone even knowing what happened or how to fix it. There are no human mistakes at this level. Everyone moves like a group of bees. If one sells, they all sell. If one buys, they all buy. Their profits for each transaction are to the percentage of a penny. And if you were to do the exact same thing they were doing, it would take you all day just to make $1 in profit. But with the amount of volume that they control, they can make the exact same trade as you, but make millions from it. And you've learned about arbitrage and how there's mismatches in the market. That doesn't exist here. There are no missed opportunities for you to capitalize on. And even if there were, by the time you get your browser to the correct page, you've already missed it. So you decide to sit down and step away. You've probably bought one index fund that you just have all your money in, and that it will just sit in until you die. With the way they print money, with the technological advancement of Wall Street, you've kind of just given up. There is no fighting chance that you have. You're not beating the market. It's called the market for a reason. You are a droplet in the Pacific Ocean, and there are waves 1,000,000 times the size of you that will just take you where they want to go. All you can do is hope and pray that one of these waves decides to pick you up and takes you to the location that you're trying to get to. You've heard it all. You've read it all. There is no new financial information that you haven't seen before. It's just old copies of the same old strategies. There isn't something as a new get-rich-quick scheme for real estate, crypto, investing in general, or Forex. And even if there was, you understand the math now. Sports betting is no longer fun. The lottery is no longer fun, and going to the casino feels like a waste of time. You've dove too deep in probability and statistics for you to enjoy it now. You've pondered for hours questions like the Monty Hall problem, the birthday problem, even learning game theory. It's all too much. You could teach people this, but for what? Just for them to end up like you, hopeless, distraught? All you can really do at this level is smile and just appreciate the journey. Laugh and have a good time with the crypto bro. Cherish that Dave Ramsey bro in your life that asks you for the 12th time if you have an emergency fund set up. Look at one of your friends who's maybe just now starting their finance journey and wish them good luck. No one will ever understand your mindset and why you just aren't interested in talking about the stock market anymore, and why that you aren't hyped that Nvidia just hit $5 trillion. You just have to let them be and let them enjoy their time. Hey, if you guys enjoyed this video and like to see more like this, I do ask you guys please like, subscribe, and turn the notification bell on so you can see when my next upload is. I've also left a link in the description to the person I'm 99% sure started this trend. And if you enjoyed this video and like to see something similar with terms of rappers and the 7 levels of them, I'd ask you guys click that link in the description below. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.